We shall fight in the field.
Mit der Akzeptanz der
C'était pas parce que les
vier
Britanniques
Grundfreiheiten und dazu gehört
ont
auch
décidé
die
de sortir qu'ils ne doivent pas
Freizügigkeit
être
der
associés à ce
Personen.
processus.
Brexit means Brexit.
Hello and welcome to another Brexitometer brought to you by the Martin Center. We are marking this week, this month, two one-year anniversaries, which I must say have been quite interesting. It's been a year since the UK officially left the EU, and it's also a year since coronavirus first arrived to the UK. And the two things, Brexit and COVID, have unfolded in many interesting ways with each other. But after a year, dare I say that now, for the first time in ages, it feels that things are just a bit more normal, or maybe we're just used to those calamities in our lives, I don't know. For the first time in a long time, news pages and newspapers and websites have just different news. People actually start thinking about other things a bit, or maybe they're just bored. Definitely Brexit is just not front page news anymore. People don't want to hear much about it. People don't want to hear that British exports to Europe collapsed by 40% earlier this year. They don't want to hear that the EU may take the UK to the European Court over Northern Ireland. So as people trying to think about other things in the world, we thought that in this episode we can actually think a bit about the UK and the EU in a much grander perspective. Let's think about this relationship within the framework of global politics. As both powers now have their sights on broader horizons towards Asia, let's see what it means for the post-Brexit relationship to take place in a new world, in a non-Western world, in a much more challenging world. Let's go have a look. So the big news for political junkies in London these days has been the publication of the UK's strategic review, or independent review as they call it, which is basically the document that explains how the country sees the world, what are the main challenges, the main opportunities, the main threats, who are its main opponents and who are its allies. And it was eagerly anticipated because it was seen as a document that would actually give life, kind of explain what exactly global Britain means, which was the slogan developed after Brexit, and until now nobody really knew what exactly global Britain meant, but now apparently we do know. And the main element of that is that the UK will be looking much more towards Asia. The catchphrase here is the so-called IndoPacific Tilt, which already everybody's talking about, and it's probably going to dominate as a slogan strategic debates in London for the coming years. What does all of that mean for the EU and the UK-EU relationship? I think this document is overall good news. It kind of shows that the two actors can agree on many more things than what they have appeared until now. The EU also thinks that it should be more present in Asia. Both sides seem to also agree on China. The UK says that it sees China as a strategic challenge, but it keeps the door open for more economic cooperation, which is pretty much the EU position, and that places the UK quite closer to the EU than what it does to the US, which has a much more adversarial view of China these days. Both sides seem to agree also on questions of climate and digital. The UK also singles out a few EU member states that it wants to do closer business with, such as France on questions of security, whether that means closer cooperation or the UK trying to divide and conquer the EU, we don't know yet. But in any case, this is a document that shows both the UK and the EU having their eyes set on a much larger scale towards Asia, much broader horizons. And it probably shows that there's more opportunities for them to cooperate than when just a focus on Brexit might have indicated all those passing years. So the Indo-Pacific Tilt is now the new thing here in the UK, and make no mistake, it has a Brexit dimension to it. A big part of the mythology of Brexit was always that the UK should break free from the shackles of Europe, break free from the limitations and the protectionism of the EU, and embrace the world, right? So that's kind of the idea behind global Britain. So there was always this idea that the UK should turn towards the Commonwealth, seek out new partners, or harness all partnerships, such as with India. Well, the problem is that something happened now that for the first time probably shows to people that having partnerships around the world also means that you're acquiring problems around the world. And this incident now has to do with the one major success in UK politics over the last couple of months, which is of course the vaccine rollout. You will know that there's like a huge drama about vaccines in the EU. Every day something new bad happens with vaccines in the EU. In the UK up until now it was super smooth. The government was benefiting politically from it. But a few days ago the first piece of bad news arrived. It was announced that there will be no new vaccinations to people under 50 in the whole month of April, and basically the vaccine rollout program will be significantly affected. Why? Because 5 million doses of the AstraZeneca vaccine will not arrive to the UK after all. Now, where were those doses supposed to arrive from? India. And that is a problem because Boris Johnson is actually ready to visit India in the coming months precisely to inaugurate this Indo-Pacific Tilt, this move towards Asia. And that puts Brexiteers, the government, the press here in a pretty awkward position because over the last couple of weeks it was very, very easy for the Eurosceptic pro-Brexit press to accuse the EU every single day of threats for vaccine export controls and for vaccine nationalism. And now suddenly it seems that India or the company AstraZeneca or a combination of both are keeping vaccines from coming to the UK. Contrary to the EU, the government doesn't have much of a luxury to actually accuse India of vaccine nationalism. So you see how vaccines and the new strategic orientation of the UK and Brexit kind of all play into each other in this very delicate diplomatic game. Perhaps one thing that we can hope out of this incident, how suddenly the UK realizes that it is exposed to adverse decisions made not only in the EU but also in other countries, but perhaps the UK can now realize that it cannot afford to burn bridges with any partner. And that means that also keeping the door open towards more cooperation with the EU is something that the British will have to get used to in the coming years. So this was another Brexitometer. You could call it the Indo-Pacific Brexitometer, trying to place the relationship between the two actors within a completely new framework, a global framework, trying to understand that some of the things that we've been discussing over the last years, Ireland and exports of fish, are perhaps a bit too parochial within a world of big new actors such as China and India and big new challenges like the pandemic that we see now. It's just a nice way to take a step back and think that perhaps the two sides have more that unite them than divide them in this world where both of them realize that they have to engage other parts of the world much more, such as Asia. So with those geopolitical, philosophical wanderings and reflections, we leave you thinking about the next steps of Brexit. There's still lots of things to discuss. Ireland will always be an issue. We'll be here to give you more insights every time there's more developments. We're going to have to see how the vaccine relationship will develop. Until next time, you can always send me your questions and your thoughts using the hashtag Brexitometer on all social media. Until then, take care.
We shall fight in the field.
Mit der Akzeptanz der
C'était pas parce que les
4
Britanniques
Grundfreiheiten und dazu gehört
ont
auch
décidé
die
de sortir qu'ils ne doivent pas
Freizügigkeit
être
der
associés à ce
Personen.
processus.
Brexit means Brexit.